This verse says, Ajnas chasradadanas cha samsayat ma vinasyati nayam loko sti na paru na sukam samsayat manaha. And the translation is the following. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So you don't want to be a doubting soul. There is no happiness in this life nor in the next life. That's terrible. That's like a curse. Purport by His Divine Grace. Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. Persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures. And some, even though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words. And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. Out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and His revealed word find no good in this world nor in the next. For them, there is no happiness whatsoever. One should, therefore, follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith, and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of the great acharyas who are in the disciplic succession and thereby attain success. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, text 40 says, Ajnas chasharadhanasya cha samsayatma vinasyati nayam lokosti na paru
Now,
sa na sukam samsayatmanaha. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. This is a very profound statement. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor the next. So, what would help one stop doubting and have faith in Krishna? The only thing is having the association of devotees. Now, let's say someone does associate sometimes with devotees, but they mainly associate with people who are interested in making money. Well, they don't really make tangible spiritual advancement. They make some advancement, but not much. Why? Because they cannot break away from the association of non-devotees. Now, that might mean you have to break away from the association of family members who are not devotees. So these are all decisions that you have to make in life. If you really want a spiritual life, you have to avoid the association of non-devotees, even if they're your own relatives. Now, that might mean that your relatives will look at you harshly because you have abandoned them and are not associating with them anymore. Well, ultimately, if you are strictly following Krishna consciousness, even though your relatives don't understand what you're doing, they would be benefited by your being strict in Krishna consciousness. So this is something that you have to accept on faith. If you cannot break your association with relatives who are adamant about not being Krishna conscious, then that weakness of mind will keep you always in a state of limbo, sometimes being Krishna conscious, sometimes not being Krishna conscious. And that's not good. That means you have very weak determination to become a genuine devotee. Now we're not we're not criticizing anyone like that, but we feel sorry for a person that's like that because they can't make the final decision that they're going to break away from associating with non-devotees, even though they're relatives. But a devotee has to make that decision. Now, it doesn't mean you'll never talk to them again or never see them again. However, to become a genuine devotee, you have to give up the association of non-devotees. And no if, and, or but about it. You might see them casually sometimes, but you should not associate with them very much. Okay, so this verse today says, but ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness, they fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. That's a very profound statement. And spiritual life is based on having faith. Faith in what? Faith in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and faith in bona fide spiritual master and bona fide devotees. So Prabhupada writes, out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. Well, that's good news. We are reading Bhagavad Gita every night. That means out of all the revealed scriptures, Bhagavad Gita is the best. So we're doing the right thing. Persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures, and some even, though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words. Well, what would be the validation that one has faith? You follow the words of the Shastras. So, therefore, you follow all the standard days of fasting. You follow all the standard days of festivals. You regularly, every day, are hearing and chanting bona fide Shastras, etc. So persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures. And some, even though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words. And even, well, you would have faith in the words if you actually follow their meaning. But if you simply know about them, even though you can recite verses, but don't actually follow sincerely, that means you don't have faith. And that means that you're not actually a devotee. A devotee has faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra will gradually liberate one from the whole cycle of birth and death, and that Srila Prabhupada is a bona fide, pure devotee, and that Krishna consciousness is the greatest benediction for humanity in this age of Kali Yuga. So these are things you have to have faith in. If you don't have faith in these things, then you never actually become a devotee. Doubts are demons when it comes to doubting the validity of Krishna consciousness. Having a doubt is not a bad thing when you are not sure about non bona fide statements or non bona fide devotees. It's good to have doubts about them. But having doubts about Krishna or Prabhupada or Krishna consciousness, that is not good. So you can have doubts about non-devotees and sinful people. That's good. But if you have doubts about bona fide devotees and bona fide scriptures, that is not good at all. So we have to have knowledge. And knowledge we acquire by association with genuine devotees. If someone says, well, I want to do it on my own, I don't want to surrender to any guru, I'll just read the books. That's a losing proposition. Why? Because you'll not be able to ask questions to a bona fide devotee, and you will most possibly misinterpret the verses that you're reading and make your own false, let's say, interpretations of the Shastras. So Prabhupada says, out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, Bhagavad Gita is the best. I like that statement. Bhagavad Gita is the best. Persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures. And some, even though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words. And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. Out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and his revealed word find no good in this world, nor in the next. For them, there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in the disciplic succession and thereby attain success. Now, this is all profound statements. And ultimately, the final, let's say, conclusion is that doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in the disciplic succession and thereby attain success. So everybody has to make this, let's say, leap of faith And it is a leap of faith to join Krishna consciousness. But if you are strictly following, that you realize that leap of faith was the best thing you ever did in your life by surrendering to Krishna and Prabhupada and associating with devotees and following the regulative principles and becoming a genuine devotee. That in the beginning, it is a leap of faith. You have to have some faith by associating devotees, you can make genuine spiritual advancement. So that's why it says here, and even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. Now, that's a, let's say, profound statement. Even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. There are a lot of people like that. They read scriptures, but they don't really have faith. They have faith, maybe they have faith in the scriptures, but they don't believe in or worship the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. They worship different types of demigods or other personalities. And Prabhupada says, out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and his revealed word find no good in this world nor in the next. For them, there is no happiness whatsoever. I know people like that. Because they have no faith and they're always doubtful about everything. But the worst thing is they're doubtful about Krishna consciousness also. So they don't make any spiritual advancement because they're always doubtful. On the other hand, men with faith in God and his revealed word find, and men without faith in God and his revealed word find no good in this world nor in the next. For them, there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons who have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One second. In other words, doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in the disciplic succession and thereby attain success. Okay, so now the question is, who are the great acharyas? There's so many so-called acharyas. How do we know who are the actual bona fide acharyas? Well, it's by studying the sampradaya. Like, for example, you have some people who claim to be part of this or that sampradaya, and but their practices are not the same as Krishna consciousness. They might do some things that are done in Krishna consciousness, but there are other things that they do that is not bona fide in Krishna consciousness. So it requires not only faith, but you have to have faith in the right persons and right teaching and right association. So therefore it says, one should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Well, what are the revealed scriptures? They are Bhagavad Gita as it is and Srimad Bhagavatam. Those are revealed scriptures. And you also have Ishopanishad. And that's enough. Those three books are enough to lead someone back to the spiritual world. But they have to be bona fide translations by bona fide, let's say, pundits. So there are many Bhagavad Gitas. You can go to a library, you might find 5 or 10 different Bhagavad Gitas. That doesn't mean they're all bona fide. So that's why Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is. Right? So he's guaranteeing you by saying as it is that whatever Krishna spoke to Arjuna 5,000 years ago, that's what you're hearing in Bhagavad Gita as it is. And there's no doubt about it, because before Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita was put into print and disseminated, many people were reading Bhagavad Gita, other Bhagavad Gitas, but not one of them became a devotee, a genuine devotee. They had certain knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, but they did not actually surrender and become a full-time, let's say, devotee. It's only when Prabhupada's translation of the Bhagavad Gita as it is was disseminated that people actually started becoming genuine devotees. Now, is this true? Well,
at least there is no evidence.
What? No evidence of what?
That prior Bhagavad Gitas.
No one was becoming devotees?
Yeah. How can
No,
you claim that?
No, Bhagavad Gita as it is. There was Bhagavad Gita before, but no one actually became a bona fide devotee.
Maybe we can rephrase the sentence as none of the Bhagavad Gita books that were printed before Bhagavad Gita as it is made any devotees.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what we're saying. Yeah, definitely. There were a lot of people. Emerson, was a great poet. And he was reading Bhagavad Gita.
Are we talking about only translated copies? Like in India, there might have been people that read Bhagavad Gita became devotees, maybe. Like the, I don't know,
The bona fide
sampradayas, maybe.
Well, I mean, look, Prabhupada obviously became a devotee.
Yeah.
Right. And this is in the 1920s. Right. So there were bona fide devotees
by that time.
Before ISKCON started. Yeah. But they weren't like spread all over the world.
Yeah, definitely.
They were
all over the world, it's mostly through Prabhupada.
Yeah.
For sure.
Most people were following Mayavad philosophy, but there were some bona fide devotees for sure. And one of them was Prabhupada, who spread the movement all over the world. Otherwise, it was more or less a secret, pure devotional service. It was mostly a secret. it was not disseminated everywhere. It was Prabhupada who spread it all over the world. Yes, so many people believe that Western people could not become genuine devotees. There were other godbrothers of Prabhupada who went to the West to preach, and they came back a failure. There were 3 of them that went to the West to preach, and they were not able to make any major, let's say, impression on the people that they preached to. So then the Gaudiya Math stopped sending their devotees to the West because they didn't think it was possible for the Western people to become devotees. But then Prabhupada, after, there were people going to the West right in the 1850s, 1890s, but they might have influenced a few people, but they were not able to make a major, let's say, a major movement in the West. And some of them were very, very bright and educated persons, like Vivekananda, very, very, a high standard of a Vaishnava, but they were not able to actually do what Prabhupada did, was actually spread the movement all over the world and make devotees. They made some devotees, but it was not any serious movement. Vivekananda went to the West, and he had some following. But what Prabhupada did was absolutely unique and unheard of previously. Lord Chaitanya, of course, did wonderful things, but it was not spread all over the world. It was mainly just in India and a little bit outside, but not much. Prabhupada was able to spread the movement all over the world, every nook and corner. And that was, a Herculean achievement. That's why everyone should bow down to Srila Prabhupada for what he did. Some people some sadhus would not go to the West because they did not think that people in the West were capable of becoming devotees. However, Srila Prabhupada, he trusted the words of Krishna, that everyone has Krishna in their heart, and that everyone is a potential devotee if they are educated properly. Right? So he spent his time educating people in the West properly. And because of that, he was able to make hundreds and thousands of devotees. So that means that the vision of Prabhupada was different than most people. He did not discount anyone from becoming a devotee. So, a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. So, you have to also subdue the senses in order to understand transcendental knowledge. And then you become eligible to have such knowledge. In other words, the knowledge might be there, but if your senses are not controlled, even though you have knowledge, you have association, whatever, but you can't control the senses, then you will not achieve what's called supreme spiritual peace. And Prabhupada writes, one is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. This is one verse and one purport that we should read regularly to be sure that what we're doing is right. And that you'll actually experience that it's right. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. So that's why we have to make a promise. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and always chanting 16 good rounds every day of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Then we can have a spiritual life. But a person who doesn't chant 16 rounds every day, sometimes they may, sometimes they may not. A person who does not really make the decision to be initiated, or if they get initiated, they're not strictly following the rules and regulations. These are all people who have problems. And they're not faithful. They're not determined that they're going to every day organize their life in such a way that they can chant 16 rounds, they can engage in Krishna conscious activities, and learn every day more and more about Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a great statement. It says, one is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Well, this one purport and verse is enough to make anybody in this world a Krishna conscious devotee. This is called real literature. There's so many books. You go to a library, you'll see thousands of books. But this one verse and purport is enough to liberate you from the cycle of birth and death. So this is real literature. All the other literatures are basically wasting your time, putting you on different levels of sense gratification. But this verse and this purport is enough to make one a faithful person who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Now, if you go to the supermarket and you ask, do you have a soap that will cleanse my heart of all the material dirt, they would say no. They don't have that type of soap. Right? Yeah, because it's the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that's going to purify your heart and purify your way of thinking about life. But it all depends on your ability to control the senses. How do you control the senses? It's by following the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. So therefore, if a person is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses, can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. There it is. So it's not only one thing, it's several things that we have to do. We have to be faithful to Krishna. That means follow Krishna's instructions. And we have to control our senses. Then we can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments? I like these types of verses and short purports. Although they're short purports, everything is in here.
It's like a capsule.
Yeah. This is real literature. Just in a few words, you encapsulate the gist of the Krishna consciousness movement. So this verse and this purport is telling us how to become faithful, how to have faith in God. Many people say, well, I don't see God, so how can I have faith in God? Right. Well, you develop faith by associating with people who have faith in God, right, or in Krishna. And you have to give up reading junk books and read Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Then you will become a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. Now, how do you attain that faith? It's attained by discharge of devotional service and by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now, what does that do? It cleanses the heart of all material dirt, meaning all rubbish thoughts for sense gratification. And also, it prepares you and teaches you how to control the senses, including the mind. The mind is the sixth sense. So if you can control the mind by keeping it focused on Krishna all the time, you have attained the position of being a genuine devotee. So the final statement, a person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Hari Bol. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? About our devotees listening from the outside world. Any questions,
any questions
or comments?
from people online? Yeah, this forces us to make our commitment really serious.
Yes.
Krishna is stating, and he is also making this also he's saying. It's like it's Krishna telling that if you don't trust scriptures, you're on your own. Which means like you're not going to be happy ever.
I think the last sentence is very profound. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. And we saw this, I saw this when I joined Krishna consciousness very quickly. All my doubts went away, and then I surrendered to Prabhupada, and became full-time devotee.
Haribo.
So you don't have to go to India to become a devotee.
It's best to be here.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, Maharaj, so what about the people? Like I saw recently in the news, they're selling all their farmland and tractor in India to come to US. Like they could do Krishna consciousness over there, right? Like, and then they get deported. Then they go back. They don't have anything. Like they could have just used their, like I think you were saying it last year that they could. You met someone in Bengal or somewhere that they had nice garden and orchards, but they wanted to
Yes,
come here to become a cab driver or something.
in New York. The sun. They were living in paradise. They had, when I visited this one family in India, as I was sitting down and talking to the father told his son climb up the tree and get a fresh dab, fresh coconut. And because I was feeling a little bit like I was a little sick at that time. So the son climbed up the tree, came back with a fresh coconut. And I drank the liquid in the coconut, and it helped me very much, And then the father says, can you help me to get my son into America? I said, what for? So, well, he'll be able to drive a taxi in America. I said, are you crazy? I said, you're living here in Mayapur, and it is the holiest place in the world. And you told your son just now climb up to get some fresh coconut, and you gave that fresh coconut to me. I drank it, and my sickness sort of went away. And you want your son to go to the United States and drive a taxi in New York City? I said, are you crazy? He wanted me to help him get his son to go to the United States. But the son would become contaminated if he did that, right? And he might get killed. Driving a taxi in New York City is dangerous.
Yeah.
That's because of television. People, they see the phony, sense gratification going on in the Western world. So they think they're missing something. But actually, what they have is full of nectar. They're living in holy Dham. They have, all kinds of nice trees, like mango trees and papaya trees, this tree, that tree. And they have three periods where they can grow vegetables and things like that. We only have like one season where we can grow vegetables. You go to Mayapur, there's 3 seasons where you can grow vegetables. That's almost every month you can do that. So they want to leave that and go to New York City to drive a taxi. It's crazy.
Most fallen place.
Oh yeah, of course. It's horrible.
They're also paying like 40, 50 lakhs rupees, I heard, to the human smugglers to get them here. So if they go back, they have pretty much nothing. They're like they sell their tractors, they sell their farmland, and they come here. And when they go back, they have pretty much, so it's such a tough situation for to fall in Maya, like from TV, like you said, and think it's like a easy.
Yeah, there was once an advertisement by the devil, and he bought this big panel, "Go to hell and be happy," and it looked like Florida. So one man, uh, uh, one man took an elevator down, and as soon as the elevator doors opened, these two demons grabbed him and started beating him up. He said, "What's going on here? What's going on here? I thought there was like heaven here." And they said, "Well, that was the publicity, but this is the reality." Yeah, so basically that's the same thing that's happening. People think, "Oh, if I come to America, I can become rich by driving a taxi." Hey, you probably get killed, right? It's dangerous driving a taxi in New York. It's all because of television or the movies. People, it puts images in their mind that are enticing to engage in sinful activities. But now, I mean, people usually, like one time I went to uh, one of the holy dhams in India, and there was a very, very nice man, uh, and he was at a holy shrine and taking care of it, right? And some of his sons were in the United States. So I asked him, I said, do you go to the United States? He said, no. He said, I'll never leave uh, Mayapur. He was in Mayapur. Yeah, I will never leave Mayapur. And huh? Huh? Oh, Tirupati. Okay, it was Tirupati, yeah. And he said, I'll never leave. I will stay here all my life. I said, you don't want to go and see your sons? And he said, no, I'm not going. So here was a man that was really smart, and he understood, he's living in a holy land. Every day he's engaged in devotional service. So why should he go to the United States? All right, his sons went there. That's their problem. But he was never going to leave, right? I was very impressed by him, very, very impressed, because he had understood very clearly that he was in the most holiest place, taking care of deities and helping people, the pilgrims, So, yeah. Why should he go to the United States? What's there in the United States that can emulate what's in where he was? He was in the best place in the world. Okay, so here it says, one is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. It's a wonderful statement. This faith is attained by discharging of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. a person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. So this is very, very high level knowledge in this one verse. It's teaching how to become a faithful person who believes in Krishna and who is acting in Krishna consciousness. Such a person can attain the highest perfection of life. And it's simply by engaging in devotional service and chanting Hare Krishna and associating with devotees. Then they become purified. Okay, so if you only know this one verse and one purport, that's enough. I'll take you back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Haribol. That's our takeaway today. Okay, so any questions from the outside world?
No questions.
All right, well, Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. Please have a very nice Krishna conscious end of day and chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Haribol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Haribol, Haribol. All Krishna devotees Ki Jai. Okay. We get ready to take rest.